Hi folks, JP here from the podcast. Just to let you all know that the podcast is sponsored by AB Entertainment, and the AB stands for Mr. Alec Beveridge. It's a DJ and entertainment business. Alex is on Facebook and Instagram, and you can hit him up through the WhatsApp for any bookings on 07845 746 092. And also folks, the podcast has taken on a new partner, and we're partnered by MCM Framing Services and Hibs Memorabilia. If you want any jerseys or if you've got any memorabilia sitting around you want framed or anything looked after that way, contact John Mullaney, and you can get him at johnmullaney0971@gmail.com, or contact him on his mobile 07835 072 582. And here at the Unrestricted View, we hope you're all enjoying the content, and if you are, please like and subscribe. It's free to do so, and also share amongst your Celtic family as well. Hail, hail from all of us. Good evening and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. It's myself, JP. That's right, folks. It's just myself. Everybody's went away and left me. If you're all wondering why I'm only on here myself. My two fellow men, Alan and Ryan, are both on annual leave at the moment. As they say, the gaffer has allowed them to go. So they are over in Tenerife, where they will be meeting up with Stevie from the Hibs bar. I think it's tomorrow, actually. And I think they'll be doing a bit of content for you. Yeah. So just stay tuned. That should be on the channel in the next couple of days. If any of them are actually watching tonight, no doubt they'll probably give us a wee comment in and have a laugh and maybe even correct me. Who knows? But let's come to some of the comments. And Jem, always up first, pal. Evening, JP and fellow viewers. Jerry Burns, good evening, JP and everyone else. Paddy Power, good evening. Vincent O'Brien, good evening, boys. And hail from Dublin. Thanks for tuning in, Vincent. I know it can't be easy on a Friday night, mate, especially in Ireland. You guys like a bevy, these know. So I'm very, very privileged that you're tuning in. Paddy Power, where is the OnlyFans picture on my canvas? Well, to be fair with you, sorry folks, something stuck in my teeth there. I don't know what it was. To be fair with you, because it's a family show and it's a Friday night, I wasn't able to get tuned into the juicy stuff right away, Paddy Power. So I'm afraid that I'm actually here to keep it clean, just for a short space of time before we get into that kind of side of things, mate. But aye, cheers for your message, pal. Vincent, and Idah is on his way to paradise. Yes. Well, that's one thing, isn't it, Vincent? We got some news earlier today that Adam Idah is, well, Celtic are in advanced talks and they have offered 6 million with add-ons to go and get Adam Idah and bring him in. I was actually hoping the deal could have been done before Sunday's game. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not. We'll need to wait and see. And see how that pans out. I liked what Rogers says earlier about God willing. Thought that was pretty good when he hit away with the God willing thing in terms of signings. But he also didn't say that Adam Idah would be his last signing. So my take on that was that there would be more following. Not many more, but there probably will be another couple. James Kennedy, good evening. Hope you're well, mate. I seen your boy on social media earlier had a bit of a dilemma. He didn't know what one of the Celtic podcasts to watch, and so far he's not here, so I'm assuming he's away watching something else. That's fine. That's fine, but hope you're well, mate. Charles McCusker, hail, hail. Same to you, pal. Same to you. Hail, hail. Guys in the comments, what's your take on Adam Idah? So 6 million with add-ons. So the deal's probably going to be more than 6 million. Either you could hazard a guess that, the deal's going to be over a 4 or 5 year period as well. My opinion is he's worth every single penny. Every penny. Not a doubt. He's worth every penny of that. Why? Because he's quality. That's why. He's quality. He's a striker that scores goals. He's a striker that impacts games. And he's a striker that occupies the two centre-halves. Not only that, he delivers in big moments as well, as we've already seen. Now, if you cast your minds back to January, loads and loads of Celtic fans doubted the signing. It actually got to a point where the guy was being run down as a person, He was being labelled a diddy. There was a lot of, I would say, silly messages coming out. And, there was a lot of negativity towards the individual. And Adam's not a silly lad. He's probably on social media. Most of them are on Instagram and stuff. So he would have saw that. And you've got to remember, folks, these boys are human. As much as they get paid big money to play football and play with the team that we love, but, they're only human. These guys have got feelings like everybody else. And when things, can you imagine being the individual, if you take your mind into that situation and you see loads of things coming out about you, what we're signing him for, he's Norwich's third striker, he's this, he's that. And Celtic have managed to work a stroke of genius with us as well, because he might not have been getting a game at Norwich under a different manager. Okay, fair enough. However, the actual recruitment part of it has been absolutely tremendous. I spoke about this the other night when we were all on, and I says that, the try before you buy, no, sorry, it was me and Ryan that was on, and I says the try before you buy route has been successful for us. And that's another one for me, folks, that shows that, it's a massive success. And, and as you said, Vincent, he's a massive Celtic fan as well. Vincent, would you sign him purely on the boots he wore for the Scottish Cup final? Would you? based on the footwear for the Scottish Cup final, would you make that signing yourself? Mark McDonald, good evening, mate. He says, in today's market, 6 million is nothing for a player. No, Mark, you're probably right, mate. You are probably right. But a 6 million bargain, in my opinion, like I've labelled, he's a striker that scores goals. And you're guaranteed good work rate off him as well. I don't know if it's just the niche of working with Brendan that just clicked for him straight away. And you'd like to think with him being 23, he's a big lad, he's strong, he's powerful, he's got pace. He's probably going to develop his game as well. And if he can notch a goal or two in the Champions League, he'll turn heads. You know, he'll certainly turn some heads in there as well. And there'll be this, you know, a lot of Celtic fans will think he's coming in to play as backup. He won't be a backup striker. Brendan's alluded to it before. So he'll come in and he'll operate as a first-team striker. So Brendan will have 2 first-team strikers, and then he'll probably try and, if he can't get a young guy in, he might have someone else kind of waiting in the wings to play in that area, to develop him on, to be the kind of third mark guy for Europe, maybe. You know, who knows? But no, I'm excited about it, Mark. I really am. I think it could be one of our best signings we've made for quite a long time. Maybe Edward. You know, that's a number of years ago now. And Norwich probably knew all along he was leaving. He was leaving them to come here. They just made it bloody difficult and got greedy. I don't think that's the case, if I'm honest. I think what's happened here is, you know, like every lone player does, they come, you know, when they come to the club, if Celtic are going to try and get the deal done and make it permanent, right, they bring players in loan in this try before you buy way. The player always goes back to the parent club. That seems to be the norm, right? They always go back to the parent club, and he's obviously contracted to that club, Norwich. So it's only fitting that he goes back, because they're in a transitional period now. It looks like they're going to lose quite a lot of their talent. There's another striker that plays with him, the lad Sargent. He's from the USA. It looks like he's going to be moving on as well. So you probably look at that and you'd say, right, they're in a transition period and their new manager has just come in as well. So there's another part of their transitional period which is probably the biggest. So he's wanted to have a look at him. Now I know people are going to say, JP, well, the big man's threw his rattle out the pram. He did. He probably did. Right? And he's kind of, I don't want to say slowed down, but he's kind of stuttered his pre-season preparation because of his actions. So if he hadn't done that, who knows, maybe he'd have played more games, because I know the new manager wanted to look at him. So I don't think it's, you know, I think a lot of fans just read stories that are put out and they take it as gospel. They think to themselves, well, that must be the truth. You know, look at the Scottish media. They put out stories all the time. Doesn't mean it's true. Last season, they tried to brand Brendan as a male chauvinist, all because he says to one of the reporters, who, by the way, knew what she was doing, he just says to her, good girl. As in, no, you know what you were doing there, but nice try. So, I think it's, no, I say it's getting greedy. I think it's just the fact that he's their player. You know, the ball is simply in their court, so they call most of the shots on that situation. Listen, we've always known from probably his penalty, his second penalty that night at Easter Road. You know, he was going to do well here. Brendan probably thought at that moment, even the game at Ibrox when he scored, I want him and I want him to stay. And we've known for a significant period of time now that Brendan's wanted him to stay, so it's just about patience. And this is the thing, folks. I have this gripe with fans. They just don't, for me, they just don't have enough patience. They want things done now, and it's football transfers in the football stratosphere. It doesn't work like that. It's a process, and Brendan says it himself. There's about 100 moving parts that you've got to get right. So you look at Alessandro Bernabe. For his signing for when he came to Celtic, there was an entourage in the room, and every one of those guys that were there had to sign a bit of paper before that signing could be done. So can you imagine if one of those guys isn't right, or it's not right in his head, or that scuppers that deal, and then Celtic are back to square one, trying to get that area filled. Albeit the way it's turned out now, in hindsight, they'd probably wouldn't have signed him. But that's just a for instance as to how quickly deals can get scuppered also. Jaros McCusker, Celtic fan who has shown he can play up here, just get a deal done. Yeah, mate, but as I said, it's you've got to have that element of patience as well, because he is a Norwich player, and they're well within their rights to have another look at him. Last season he wasn't in favour down there, and that was under a different regime. That was under a different manager. So I think it's 2 or 3 years he's still got left in his deal down there. So I think, I'm actually not too bothered. Even if it's the last day of the window he signs, I would still be over the moon, because we're getting a guy like that and that quality for that price as well, because that's impressive. Like, for renting, nobody can say anything but that. The recruitment itself is impressive because of the way we've went about it, because of we've got him in, Charles, first, had a look at him, and it's a kind of try before you buy. Celtic have been massively successful in that way of working, and I'm on board with that every day of the week. Every day, I'm on board with that. If it means you're bringing in talent for clubs, and then you can have a look at them whilst on loan, while they're developing on, and then you can make up your mind if you want to buy them or not. I'm on board with that every day of the week. But not a lot of clubs are going to let you do it and buy their top talent every year. But it's been amazing, the frequency that we've been able to do it at. Joseph Agnew, good evening. He says, hail, JP. If a loan player comes here, all Anglo contracts should be on. In this case, Celtic probably was not before the buy. Yeah, Joseph, I think looking back to January, mate, on that, it kind of looks now that, I don't want to say it was rushed, but it was more hurried than anything, because we were lighting numbers in that area of the field. And I'm being honest with you, mate, I don't think Brendan fancied Big O. I don't think he thought he could go with the two of them. So he needed that extra one in. And so I don't think we had the time on our hands to try and implement an option to buy him. And I think Adam Idah was a massive surprise, even for Brendan. He's came up here and he's lit this league up. He's done very well, and I think he's turned a few heads, and that, that was a surprise. We never expected that. And that's why now you're seeing Celtic going and getting him full time. Stephen Coulthard, hail, JP. Good evening, Stephen. Thanks for joining us, mate. Hope you're well. Big Rab B Niz. Hail to yourself, buddy. Hope you're well. Yeah, Rab, I'm on my own, mate. The other two, are in Tenerife, so they're in a wee bit of annual leave at the moment. That's why the gaffer's here, mate. That's why I'm here and hard at it. So I've allowed they to go away at the same time. Plus the fact that we're doing my nutting and all. So that's another reason why the two of them aren't here. I was like, right, used to go on holiday together. But no, I was telling the folks just before you joined in, Rab, that the lads they're actually over. They're going to do a bit of content while they're over there as well. So we'll get the videos up. Like I says to these all night, they'll be on the video section of the YouTube channel. Hopefully over the next few days we'll be able to get some stuff up if they too manage to keep themselves sober enough to do it. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I can't promise you because it's no me, it's doing it to say to. Yeah, that's it. You've got, well, you know, this is it. If it's quality you're trying to bring in and a different level of player, I said this before. I think if you're trying to bring in the right level of quality and you're not trying to stockpile the squad with guys that we're not, you know, that we would call projects or that we would call young players, and they're maybe not on that sort of experience level to play at a higher level, and they're not used to, you know, the exposure of this fan base and everything else that this can bring, then really I feel that there is no point in making that move because you've got that many who are in the squad just now. I mean, I mentioned it the other night about the centre-back position. And I says you can't bring in another centre-back when you're paying wages for guys who are not playing just now. It just doesn't make sense, man. You need to get a couple of guys out the door and then look to strengthening the position. But it needs to be the right people, Rab. Like you've says, mate, it needs to be people who are going to come in and actually really try and cement their place in the team, or at least compete with the guys who are in the first 11. And that itself is going to be a monumental task, mate. For Celtic to go out and bring in guys who are better than our first 11. Like, it's not going to cost threepence and pennies, you know. It's going to take a lot of cash in order to even displace your Matt O'Reilly's or even replacing him, should he get moved on. Rio Watati, Carl McGregor, you know, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, even Greg Taylor. He gets a hard time off a lot of your fans, but you know, he's a winner. He's been there for years. He knows what it's like to win in the jersey. He knows what it's all about to deliver trophies for us. So if anybody was coming in to, you know, to displace them, then can you imagine the levels that the individuals need to be at? I've said this all the time, you know, humongous jump. And I believe firmly that Brendan's looking at a different calibre of signing. You know, I've seen he's been linked to that boy who plays on the left-hand side for Crystal Palace, that Jeffrey Sloop. He's 31-year-old. That's well out of the field for Celtic in terms of signings. We normally don't sign guys like that. It's normally guys at about 10 years younger than that we'll look to sign. So, yeah. But I'm on board with that because I think we need a wee bit more experience about the boys because there's a lot of young lads in there. Like I said before, you look at Bernardo's recent press conference, he hadn't won a medal or a trophy up until last season when we won the double. And see that, young lads, is that also changes you. That develops you on and gives you a different mindset. And it also gives you an understanding and a desire and a hunger to know what Celtic's all about. They're synonymous with winning. And if they don't win a game, it's a failure. And if they draw in a game, it's a catastrophe. So it's all about a learning curve. Every day's a school day. KP, I think O'Reilly will stay. Aye, Stephen, you could be right, mate. You could be right. There's every chance it's going to happen. You heard Brendan today, if his fee's not met, and not obviously the reports that we've heard that Brighton had agreed the fee and stuff, it must have been well wide of the mark because if the fee hasn't met, mate, then I don't think he'll be moving on. I also don't think he's in a hurry to go anywhere, if I'm being honest. Who knows, Stephen? We'll need to keep an eye on it. Big Dom, good evening, pal. He says, if O'Reilly wants to leave and there's no time to replace, should we let him go? Dom, to be fair, I do think if the fee is met, then he's got to go, man. You know, there is no way that he can be kept. I know people are saying Celtic aren't in a position to sell him on, but you know, bigger players have left us, mate. Larson left us. We were all distraught and didn't realise, oh no, what's going to happen. It's just the fear of the unknown. You know, it's just the total fear of the unknown. Somebody else will come along and start grabbing the headlines and maybe in a different position. Who knows? But with Tom Rogic, he was leaving. Everybody was worried. Matt O'Reilly came in. By the way, Matt O'Reilly wasn't the first choice. Remember that as well. That's just how lucky we are. We paid 1.5 million for a guy for MK Dons. And now the way everybody's talking about him, he's like a global superstar. But it just shows you how good a transfer recruitment model Celtic have got and the levels that these lads can get to. If they have a bit of patience, work hard and dedicate themselves to the team. Your world's your oyster. Francis Lester, evening JP, sorry I'm late, I've got a note. Yeah, mate, just send it over to me, mate. I'll have a read when I'm finished. Don't let that happen again. I'm on my cell. Come on, Francis. Jesus, you've left me high and dry with that one there, have you know? JP, heard Ryan caught the wrong flight and he's currently dressed in double denim, drinking in the Bang Wan Inn bar. Now, by the way, that'd be right up his street, I know. That's the kind of thing he would do deliberate and just end up on the wrong flight. Kidding on, he was that drunk. That's your Ryan for you, mate. That's what happens. I'd love to see that, by the way. I'd love to see something like that, especially the videos. That'd be, can you picture that? That'd be brilliant. I wouldn't even do a podcast. See the next solo podcast I'm going to do while they're away. If I had videos like that, I would just sit and play the videos all night. I just want to do the podcast. I think that's tremendous. I really do. Charles McCusker, you're doing well with the channel, mate. Must be a lot of effort. It's a lot of hard work, mate, but it's a lot of... What's the best way to say this? It's no hard work. It's, you know, it's something you really enjoy doing, and I just love being able to talk about Celtic any opportunity I can get. And I'm unlucky in a way because, you know, the modern day now, there's loads of women are into football. Unfortunately for me, my missus hates football. So I don't really get to talk much about it in the house, apart from if I'm in the house doing this. But I love the experience, Charles. I love the new opportunities that's coming up for us now and where this can grow to. I'm loving that. Love the fact that we've got a regular input in Barry Bannon most weeks. I know Barry's not been on for a period of weeks beforehand. He was back on Monday night there. So if you're new to the channel, Charles, and you want to have a wee look, mate, you can go back on the channel there and have a wee look. Barry was on with us on Monday night there. And I love that input, mate. We've had loads of guests on as well, mate. Very recently we spoke to guys like Michael Stewart. You know, we are working on other guests coming onto the channel. Paul Hartley's been on, Alan Thompson, Kelvin Wilson. You know, real good Celtic men that have played at very good levels against good opposition. I just love hearing the stories, mate. You never tire of it. You really don't. You never get tired of hearing. I mean, I played football to an extent, but no to the level that these guys got to. Celtic, my boyhood club, but that was my dream, to play for Celtic one day. Unfortunately, I was never good enough to do it. So you kind of you kind of get that different feeling when you start hearing the stories, mate, because you hear stories about it, and you feel as if then it's a weird feeling, mate, because you feel as if you're starting to live the life, if that makes sense. Because you're that well engrossed into it. So yeah, mate, it's worthwhile, especially with you guys tuning in, especially guy like tonight, when unfortunately, obviously the timing of tonight and the guys are away, and I'm on here doing this myself and chatting with you guys, and it's just every bit of it's worthwhile. And we do this for Celtic fans, because that's why, Charles, like I says, mate, I don't know how long you've been watching, but that's why we've brought in the phone in. That's why we've brought in a Monday night dial-in, Talk to Tim's it's called, mate. So that's why we brought that in as well. It's about Celtic fans getting a say, how they feel. We've all got different opinions, so we're never always going to agree with one another. That's the beauty in this beautiful world we live in, but it'd be a very boring place, mate, if we all sat here and agreed with each other and just all sat and nodded our heads like the Churchill dog. Because if you've got a strong opinion about something, then yeah, you can air it. But the phone-in's a good thing for the fans too. I don't think a lot of people have caught and don't eat yet, and what you're actually supposed to do. With a wee bit of teething problems once or twice with it. A lot of the other guys that have been on have been brilliant, That's ran for a couple of weeks now. So like I says, I'm getting used to the kind of new opportunities that this is bringing, and we're just enjoying every bit of it. Good evening, Lindsay. How are you, pal? Sorry, I've not got my wee red coat attire for you tonight. Anyway, it's Friday, you know what I mean? Anyway, didn't want to wear that again tonight. End up boring you out of tears with it. James, thanks very much. Thank you. I'm like this every day, mate. I can do this in the house. I've always said I'll never be lonely, mate, with the amount of voices I've got in my head. But, aye. No, I've always said, like, even if I can, I'll always come on and have a chat with you guys. Because, like I says, to Charles's point there, it's worthwhile. It is worthwhile doing. And, you get an element of happiness of doing it. St Mary's Parish in Coatbridge, good evening, how are you? Hope you're well. Any rumours in KT returning? No. And I'm not saying no that he's not returning, that's not what I'm saying, but there's not been any chat. We kind of tend to stay away from rumour on here until we know something's a bit more concrete. Because if you say the wrong thing, to be fair, it can get you in a bit of trouble. And then people start tagging you in things and, clipping your videos and stuff like that. And unfortunately, just now, we've not really had much of that happen, apart from, it wasn't the last year, it was the season before, when we ended up in a St Mirren podcast. And we predicted that Celtic could win the treble and go the season unbeaten. It was at the point we were under Big Ange and we were, we were going well. And the next game we went to St Mirren and they beat us 2-0. And we were absolutely gash that day. And we ended up on the clip of us talking about us going unbeaten and stuff. Ended up on a St Mirren podcast. So good laugh. Listen, they weren't saying anything bad about us. They just clipped us saying it and then saying, I wonder how the guys feel now. But we were laughing. It's fun, We'd be doing the same. Lindsay, thanks, pal. Like I say, it's it's a different thing for Celtic fans to do. To come on and vent your frustrations, or not that we've, as a Celtic fan, but you know, we've not got much frustrations in us. I don't think now, with the amount of success we've had over the last, how many years now, over the last decade and over. I said it when I was on BBC Sports Sound chatting with the lads. If Celtic were in a computer game, they would have obliterated and completed Scottish football time and time again. And I did get a couple of chuckles on the radio. I think Leanne Cranston and Tom English, they were laughing when I said that on there. But yeah, as I say, it's, you know, that's how I feel. So, but the dialogue's a brilliant thing. I personally feel for likes of you guys. There's always a lot of chat coming in from the chat. The comments for you guys are brilliant. So we were wanting to give back in terms of an opportunity to you, for you to come on and actually have a chat with us and get to kind of feel that socialisation in person, you know, because we've come on here and you get to see us when we're in a Squirrel Bar, and or if we're down at Celtic Park doing any content, but it's not the same as speaking to us in person. So, and I've always said, Lindsay, look, what you see on here is what you get. That's the way we are in real life. We don't change. We're not scripted. We don't put on an act. This isn't, we never went to drama school before, so none of us know how to act properly. Or we're just three guys that are fanatical Celtic fans, and, well, four guys if you count Barry Bannon as well, as much as he's the Sheffield Wednesday current captain as well. So, and we all just want what's best for Glasgow Celtic. So, yeah, the dial-ins are, but hopefully as we go, the more and more of you, I get people might not want to be on camera, and that's fine. I've told you a million times, you can come in and just come through the audio. It gives you an option to click to be on camera, or you can remain having your camera off, and you can it would just be audio only. So we would only be able to hear you, we wouldn't be able to actually see you. So yeah. So hopefully that catches on sometime soon. Evening, Thomas. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice Friday, pal. Lindsay, what you saying? I need to be a litre of vodka down before I even dream of coming on, but it's why do you need to down vodka? Oh, you hurted my feelings now. Do people need to be drunk to talk to me or something? Have I get that effect on people? I need to talk to JP. I'm going to have a swally first. What's going on? Let us know, man. What's going on? Why do people need to be drunk to talk to me? Just come across your channel a couple of days ago. Keep up the good work. Buzzing for the season ahead. No worries about the league, etc. But hope we splash the cash for Europe. Hell. Well, thanks very much for stumbling across the channel. Please feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. That's free to do so. And it just means you are a part of the Celtic Unrestricted View family from then, and you will get notified when we go live. It's because I seen a comment about Ryan 118 and I say we go Ryan. I'll come to that in a second. But yeah, thanks again for your comment. Lovely. In terms of us splashing the cash, I've always kind of said the same thing when it comes to Europe's a different stratosphere. So you look at some of the deals that's going around, right? The lad Conor Gallagher has went to Conor Gallagher's just recently went to Atletico Madrid. The deal's worth about 30 odd million quid. And that's just a guy from Chelsea. He's come through Chelsea's ranks and stuff. Then you look there, Newcastle have just signed a boy for Sheffield United, striker. I think it's like 16.5 million quid with add-ons. This is what you're up against. This is So, in terms of Europe, me personally, I know where we are in the food chain. I know exactly where we are in the food chain. And see this squad, right? Barry Bannon was on Monday and he said the exact same thing as I've felt for the last year or two. We're not far away at competing at the level. If you look at back at some of the games, we've competed really well. And on different nights, those results could have went for us. Look at last season, the Atletico Madrid away game. Take that into isolation. It just was a bad night for us. Everything that could have went wrong for us did go wrong for us. But the rest of the games we were really competitive, including the Atletico game at Celtic Park where it finished 2-2. And that could have very easily went in Celtic's favour. 3-2 or 2-1 or... I think it's sometimes about timing and sometimes about moments. But do you know something that will be definitely better this season for us? Celtic have played a blinder in keeping and retaining our top talent. So when you look at the nucleus of our stars, Kyogo, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, Rio Watati, Alistair Johnson, they're all still there. But the vast majority of them are all on new contracts, new and improved terms as well to keep them. The Celtic have always lost players. They've always had to sell players. Years have gone by, Celtic have not made Europe and they've had to get rid of one of their assets. So Van Dijk, Wanyama, Big Dembele, Kieran Tierney was sold as well. So they've always had to move people on. But this team has developed together over the last couple of years and had to take the hits along the way, right? Now, cast your minds back to the last game of the Champions League last season. In my opinion, the guy's now at Liverpool, Arne Slot. We could have hammered his team that night. Absolutely hammered them. And, and another night, you're hitting about 4 or 5 by them. So, it's about small margins, especially Europe. But in terms of us just spending money for Europe, what does that entail? What kind of money are we talking? What kind of money do we spend to take? What does it guarantee you? What we're looking? What kind of money are we talking? What does £5-6 million, £7 million just in one guy? What does that get you? What does that get you? We know £6 million is going to get us Idah, right? And but that's a route that Celtic have went down to, a try before you buy. So Celtic have not took a stab in the dark and went and paid £6 million for Adam Idah. Can you imagine if Celtic went at the beginning of last season and paid about 7-8 million quid on Nat Phillips? Where would that have put us? Where would we have went then? Look how that never worked out for us. So it's not about the amount of money you're paying. It's about the level of player that you bring in. And the most important person at our football club is already in the door, and that's Brendan Rodgers. He's looking for that special talent to come in and help these boys. But if you bring in one or two, maybe even three players and put them all round guys like Callum McGregor, Rio Atati, Matt O'Reilly, how different is Celtic then going to look? You've even got a lad, Paolo Bernardo, in now as well, as part of the squad. So suddenly then, the squad and the depth starts to look different when you've got a couple of other guys there and that can actually come in and, you know they're going to do well for you. So whilst Palmer, Kuhn, Holm have all developed and are all developing in the background. Now, in my opinion, I think Kuhn's going to be flying this season, should he stay injury-free. And if he manages that, then I think we could have a good one, folks. Sorry, I was chatting about there. There's a few more comments just came in. I'll go back because I think I've missed a few comments. Big Rab. Celtic style doesn't work in Europe. Spurs 65 million for a C-rated star. I'm not sure about the no working. I'm not sure about that, mate. Because like I've said, we're not too far away, mate. We played through an Atletico Madrid team last season. Look at Kyogo's goal. It comes from Matt O'Reilly. Couple of sharp 1-2s, boom, you're through in their goal. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that is the right thing. I would say. Evening Plunge. Hope you're well, mate. Stephen, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Idah Jets in. Well, we're not far away from making the signing, Stephen, from what my information is. Today Sky Sports News had up that we were in the advanced stage of the talks. Anthony Joseph has also said that, and Brendan sort of alluded to, he kind of let you believe that, it's pretty much a done deal. So as from the Norwich side as well, by the way. So there's even chat saying that Adam's already left Norwich. So whether that's happened or not, I don't know. I'm sitting here with you guys, so I don't know. And let's see what happens. But I firmly believe he'll be a Celtic player, mate, within a matter of days. This isn't going to stumble on to the end of the window, mate. No, for the kind of package they're talking about in terms of 6 million plus add-ons, Norwich will snap a horn right off Celtic for that. Francis, I think Europe, JP, we just want to start beating teams. We really should be beating, especially at Celtic Park, like Dutch, Norwegian opponent. But this is the thing, Francis, right? That, I've always said it, mate, you're playing in a platform that's different from anywhere else, right? The Champions League is, it's a level, mate, that we don't get tested at weekly. We don't get tested at that level domestically. This is why you look at Celtic last Sunday at Celtic Park, right? They blew Kilmarnock away. Blew them away with the football and the way they can play their counter press. Now, Celtic done the same thing to Man City and Chelsea in pre-season and took 4 goals at each game after him. But do you know why it was even more impressive at the weekend? Because you're playing against a low block. See, when you get into Europe, mate, none of your teams will play with low blocks. Teams are coming to have a go at you, regardless of whether it's Feyenoord, Club Brugge, any of the kind of teams, they're coming to have a go because they all play football in a similar way. They've all got that similarity, and they've got attacking-minded coaches. All these young, modern, progressive type coaches are playing football the same way, playing out for the goalkeeper and passing into the defence and going about passing it into midfield and using patterns of play. What Celtic are starting to do, Francis, is when we're chatting to Barry Bannon, in football now they call it the net. What Celtic are starting to do now is setting traps. So they're starting to trap teams. And when you've got Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales standing 35 yards for the opponent's goal, And it's only obvious that you're going to have not just the bulk of the play, but you're going to have a lot more chances at goal, mate. So Brendan's changed that. He's brought the team higher. And I noticed that on Sunday. He done it against Chelsea and he done it against Man City as well. And it's something he's putting into place. So in terms of playing against these teams, mate, it's so difficult, Francis, because 1 minute you switch off and you could be a goal or two down. These teams have got more quality in them than your Ross Counties, St Mirren's. That's, by the way, that's no disrespectful. But Celtic aren't tested physically and mentally at that level weekly, which is why we don't have more results on our favour. But developing Europe is a very, very slow process, especially where Celtic want to be, which is year in, year out in the Champions League. And I'm afraid, as a Celtic fan, I am willing to take some hits if it means that we can get it right and be a bit more braver when we go in there. So that when we do start going away to teams like Lazio or Napoli, and we can play with that freedom. But do you know the good thing, Francis, is this season coming, our players will be well exposed to the level. They'll have a lot of experience between them, and they're all still together as it stands now. I'm including Matt O'Reilly in that, by the way, because he's still there. That'll count, mate. People are going to say it's the same players. Yeah, but even they're developing together as an outfit. On the commentary on Sunday there, this looks like a team that's been together for years. Yeah, because there's continuity right throughout it. I think what will help us as well is we've upgraded our goalkeeper. So I think Casper's a higher calibre of goalkeeper than Joe Hart. No disrespect to Joe Hart, because I absolutely love the big fella. But Casper can do a lot more on the floor in terms of his ball distribution and everything. And that'll also help us when we get into the Champions League, Francis. Big Barry, hey big guy, flying solo. The most important person at our club at this moment is Brendan Rodgers. We have an elite coach operating our football affairs. Yeah, mate, I just touched on that there, mate. Yeah, we do. I've got every belief in him that, we're going where we should be. And like I say, there is nobody better and more knowledgeable than the man you've just said. Yeah, so 100%. I'm really happy, Buzz. I really am. I'm really, really happy. And yeah, so as I said, it's onwards and upwards. John, how are you doing, mate? Good evening. Hope you're well. John's a partner of the podcast, folks. So he does all the framing, the Hibs memorabilia stuff as well. And he says, I think we're in danger of celebrating the same team we had last year, with the exception of 2 new keepers. Not good enough, JP. See, to be fair with you, John, try not to look at it that way, mate, because you're bringing in a guy that you only had since January, and he left us in May. So you've only maybe half a season from Idah. I don't think that's fair to say, right, you're putting him in the same team. The lad Bernardo, again, he was a loan signing. But he's now a Celtic player. So he was never properly labelled that. But if you look at the goalkeeping position, people just, I've seen this comment a few times out of the goalkeepers, as if that's nothing, man. We've signed Kasper Schmeichel. We have signed Kasper Schmeichel. He's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. He was probably the best goalie at the Euros. It's not just a goalkeeper. We've signed the guy's an elite goalkeeper. An absolute elite goalkeeper. And, yeah, so he's one of the like I say, he's probably one of the best goalkeepers Celtic have ever had, in my opinion. And the young lad, I mean, what I've seen of the boy Sinisalo, he's already better than both Bain and Siegrist. So you've got to look at that and you've got to say you've upgraded in that department. So from pre-season to now, Idah and Bernardo weren't with the lads in the USA. So if they join that squad now, then they've certainly upgraded that squad, in my opinion, because they weren't options when we were in pre-season. But suddenly, the squad look takes a different turn. Look how strong we finished the season last season. Listen, it says everything. The mob across the water, who are now going to be playing at Hampden, they're in fear that we sign Idah because of the quality it's going to add to our squad. Not only that, the fact that we're flying as well. And with all due respect, folks, I don't want to be disrespectful and come across as arrogant here. And I do apologise if I do. But Celtic have got enough in the locker to deal with teams domestically before we sign anybody else. We've got enough there. Let's face it. Celtic last Sunday, nobody here's touching them. And that's not being big-headed or egotistic with that at all. That's just the realism and the fact that, we do not need to strengthen anymore. I mean, even some of the guys that we've got on the bench, even like James Forrest or Dyson Maeda's obviously back amongst the squad for Sunday. You've got Mikey Johnson still there. These guys are still good enough to go in against these teams and do the business and help one another to do the business. Celtic look as if they're ruthless. They're playing sniper football just now. And that's a term I don't use lightly. Sniper football. They're picking teams apart. They've been doing it. It's a continuation for pre-season. And they're coming, they've come back a real hungry animal. And they want more success. You listen to Callum McGregor. We need to get our trophy back. We need to do this. We need to do that. There is a hunger and a desire about this squad. And I'm just dead excited, folks, to see what's round the corner for us, especially under us, as I keep calling him, an elite football manager. Robbie, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. God, that's a book, man. Hold on, mate. I'll need to take a wee sip of my juice before I get through that one. JP, Celtic will find it hard in Europe as the jump up from domestic scene is a big task. Yes, I said that earlier, mate. That said, the Danish, Norwegian and Belgian teams have done better than us over the last few years. However, getting into the last 16 should always be our benchmark. Always, because it's been done 3 times before. Yeah. The one thing I would say about that, Robbie, is you talk about the Danish teams and Norwegian teams, etc. How often do they do that? How often do they get to that next stage? It's not very often. You always see it as they've done well this season, this and that. But it's not as often. More so than no, mate. They always they get beat in their groups and they might go on to qualify for the Europa, or they might go on to drop out Europe altogether. But the one thing I do agree with you is Celtic are not tested domestically to get them ready for that level. But one thing they are coached at, Robbie, and this is taking time, mate, but it will come. They're being coached at Champions League level with this manager. And that, I believe, we'll start seeing results of as we go. JP, I'm liking that new training top cracker. Do you think we'll renew our deal with Adidas end of the season? I think we will. Yeah, mate, I think we probably will. Yeah. And I like these jerseys, man. They're really, really comfortable. They sit really nice. And yeah, it doesn't even feel like you're wearing the top. It's that comfortable. You know, it's very light. And it's quite a bright colours on the collar. And by the way, that's not a real collar. That's a kind of, it's like a painted on job. But it looks good. I like the luminous side, the badge as well. But yeah, that's why I got it, mate. It got my eye straight away in the shop. David Schmeichel was incredible in pre-season. He is a rock and at the top of his game, the back of the Euros. Do you know something else, David? I think he will help our defence humongously. He's got that wee difference in him. But I watched him on Sunday, even with Liam Scales. You know, Liam went to step high and he was telling him not to. And he was kind of keeping him right. And he was telling Greg Taylor when to drop in, when to come out. Making sure Greg was on half turn when he should have been. Same at the other side with Alistair Johnson. No, he was keeping these guys going. But yeah, as I say, it's a new experience for Casper as well. And I think he'll not see the fruits of it until the season really gets going, until we get going. Right. Now, I'm now on 2 minutes in, and I've not once mentioned Sunday's game. I think I'm going to put this one to you guys. Sunday's game. So obviously we're going to the capital to take on Hibs. They've got a new manager in David Gray. I think this is his third spell now as caretaker manager. People don't really, know where they're going to be. Are they going to finish the top half, the bottom half? They have signed some players. Anton Logan's left foot, you're saying it now. I'd love it, man. Honestly, I would. I'd love it. There's Big Alan there. He's just took a wee sip of his fishbowl there before typing in saying we're listening. I can actually hear your voice now saying that to me. Do you know that? I was just telling the lovely people, Alan, that you boys are going to put up some nice content from Tenerife. If you can stay off a bevy. But listen, I've got every faith as well. And put up some lovely content for the people. And by the way, before anybody thinks what I was going to say next was WATP, forget it. That's not happening. So I'm not even going to do that. No chance. Will they fill their stadium? John, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Really good question. Don't know. Usually we get a tricky one, folks, don't we? Usually we go to Edinburgh, and it's usually a damp squib. Or, Adam made his debut for us. He scored 2 goals. I know that wasn't it was his debut when he starts the game. He scores 2 goals. That wasn't his debut. We played against Aberdeen before it. But it's usually hard. Listen, going to the capital, you'd expect it to be hard, wouldn't you? You'd expect it to be tough. But the way Celtic are playing just now, Chloe, honestly, you're keeping me so optimistic here. Chloe K says 4 seems to be the magic number. 4 in both half, please. I actually think you would. He'd be jumping for joy. I think there'd be street parties happening if that happened. I really do. But Celtic are on a different stratosphere when they're in that mood. You know, when like it'll all depend the first 5-10 minutes. I think the way we start knocking the ball about, and if we can get our flow going again the way we have done, and like it's a continuation of the way it's been. You know, like Chloe says, it seems to be a magic number now. We've took 4 off DC United, Man City, Chelsea, and then the game on Sunday there against Hibs, against Kilmarnock. Do you know why I said Hibs there? Because we're playing them twice now. We're playing Hibs obviously on Sunday, and then we've got them the following Sunday at Celtic Park in the League Cup. The officials, James, we have Nick Walsh as the referee, and the VAR assistant one is Alan Muir. So, as far as I'm led to believe, mate, I think that's the same officials that were the officials for the cup final. I'll stand corrected if it's no Alan Muir. It might have been somebody else actually in the VAR room. Might have been John Beaton actually. Something's ringing a bell with John Beaton. But Nick Walsh is obviously the ref. So I need a great game that day in my opinion. Because, like I say, he chopped off that goal, didn't he? So, but I'm expecting a tough tie. I'm expecting them to be a wee bit more compact. They'll have seen the way we're playing, and they will try and make it stuffy for us. Why wouldn't you know? You know what I mean? The Celtic they've got every bit of confidence going there, and you know, it's in my opinion, the Celtic boys will come bouncing off the coach, and why would they know? Look, they're flying, absolutely flying. So they would expect to be turning up and saying, right, we've got to do this, mob. And I know that maybe does happen in the dressing rooms and whatnot, but you've got to go out and also perform as well. I seen a comment from someone saying, Big Rab, you reckon 3-0 Mikey Johnson for 2 goals? Might be late scorers then, because Mikey didn't even get a game on Sunday. And if Dyson Maeda's fit, I would imagine the first go-to sub there of the wingers would be James Forrest that's coming off the bench. Because I'll give you my team in a minute, but I think Nicholas Kuhn will start the game again. And it's just a continuation on with the tempo, with the flow, with the way they're doing, you know. And yeah, who knows? Yeah, Alan Muir is on VAR. Rob, I've just seen your comment there about Mikey Johnson. Listen, mate, it's no the unthinkable. He done it against Dundee. Remember, he came on and scored 2 for us against Dundee before he went to West Brom. So, Mikey's capable. He's very, very capable. I wouldn't write the lad off. I certainly wouldn't write the lad off doing a bit of damage this season if he's kept. He is capable. He's got all the ability. And he's got a manager that will give him every tool and every possibility to go and do the job correctly. It would then up to the individual to go and carry that duty out and do it. So I wouldn't write it off for her, but I know you're probably just having a joke there, mate, but it's something I wouldn't write off. Some amount of hairs flying about in my house tonight. I don't know what. I think I've swallowed about 10 of them before I started this. I don't know what's going on. I've got a daughter and a missus, so obviously some amount of hairs going on in here. And before anybody jumps on the comments, no, Ryan and that haven't been here. They're away, they're in Tenerife, so before any of these get smart, clever. He's even get, by the way, he's even get the annual leave off for his half 10 show, the wee man, I know. Did you believe it? Shocking, man. I told him about viewers and subs and everything else. You've got to keep them happy. That's why I'm on tonight to have a talk to you and stuff. Right. I'm going to give you my team, and then I'm going to say cheerio on like he's going to have a lovely weekend, and I've probably annoyed some of you more than I should have tonight. And I need a right good drink of water for myself. I keep talking, my mouth's gone all dry. I'm getting covered in hairs off my daughter and my missus, so No, John, mate. Definitely no. Head of the dog. Definitely no, mate. You need a swallow to do that, mate. I've not had a swallow for a good while. So, nah, no head of the dog. And I've not got any pet dogs or anything, mate. So, it's... we want to know what was going on before the pod started. Well, to be fair, my missus did brush my daughter's hair tonight before bed because she had a crazy hairstyle before her bed tonight. So she had to get her hair all brushed. And my daughter's got curly hair. So it's quite it can be quite tuggy and stuff. And it happened in this vicinity of where I am. I feel like Chick Young when I said that there. It's me reporting exactly where I am, sitting here with yous where I am. That's what I felt there. But no, you don't want to know, Angie, and you're right. You don't want to know. You do not want to know. But you did well. Listen, I'm an open book. My name like John Paul, I can't tell lies. See, growing up, by the way, that was a nightmare. Had to watch we were gone in Glasgow. Especially when I was younger. I'm 40 now, but see when I was younger, going in the drinking scene. And you get into a pub, you can't tell people your name's John Paul because you don't know who you're talking to. So you're kind of like... my name's... I think I was Davey a few times, and Brian came into conversation, and I introduced... Depending on where you were drinking, though. I was down at Gallagher, I was alright. I could call myself John Paul, no bother. Nobody batted an eyelid, but if you were at the south side or Elm Shawlands or whatever, then... John, that's it, mate. That's it. Sure, my mum, by the way, I'm sure my ma got a severe warning when I get took out the ward. I think my ma got a severe warning. You need to watch him now. Don't be calling him John Paul in the street. Especially when you're watching. Daniel McManus, you just keep your normal Friday fantasies to yourself, pal. Whatever you do with your candy floss, don't try and put that on to others. That's no fair, mate. That's definitely no fair. Smell the glove. Good evening. Where have you been? Hope you've got a note for your mammy to tell us why you're late. I'm only kidding, pal. It's Friday night. I appreciate you coming on just for a minute, even if it was only a minute or whatever. You know, it's no easy. Friday nights, normally people are out socialising or away doing stuff with a family and getting ready for the weekend. So I do thank you for joining us. My Idah is fit. So actually, that was a good thing that Brendan says earlier. My Idah's back amongst the squad. So you'd probably think my Idah will come into the team and maybe Forrest will drop onto the bench. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that starting lineup. I think it'll be Casper Schmeichel, Alistair Johnston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales, Greg Taylor. I think the midfield picks itself. I'm not even going to... You want me to say their names? Okay, I'll say their names. Matt O'Reilly, Callum McGregor, Ray Watati, Nicholas Kuhn, Dyson Maeda, and Kyogo. What a team that is, man. I mean, see if you just rhyme them off and then you think about each player individually and what they bring this team. Frightening, man. And then even her bench, you're bringing guys like Bernardo, Forrest, real quality off the bench to then go and attack these teams when that team's tiring. You know, this is what I'm saying. That's why I said earlier, folks, I'm not being arrogant or big-headed. I think, firmly, we've got enough to deal with Scottish football. I don't think there'll be many will stop us, especially at the flow we've been on, and especially last Sunday. Celtic are in that form. Nobody comes close. But thank you very much to everybody who has joined. I've seen a couple of names that's came through in the chat, folks. They are relatively new names. They're names that I don't recognise or particularly have seen a lot of. So if you are new to the channel, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. It's totally free to do it. Doesn't cost you any money. And it lets you become a member of the Celtic Unrestricted View family. Usually, it's not often I'm on myself. Usually there's others on with me. Ryan and Alan. And Barry Bannon as well. So we get an insight from a current player. We get football knowledge from the current Sheffield Wednesday captain, who's just about to attack a brand new championship season himself on Sunday when his team take on Plymouth. That's live on Sky at 4 o'clock, folks, as well, after our game against Hibs. But with all due respect, I've took up enough of your time on this Friday night. Cheers, Tam. Thank you very much. Cheers to yourself. Where are we? Hold on. Cheers to yourself, Charles, as well, for your comments earlier about it. You know, you've just came across us and you've just joined in with us as well. Cheers to you, James Kennedy, as well, mate, for a comment about being a great show. Cheers, Ange. Thank you very much. Or Archie, is that what we have to call you now? You've seen your comment there in the chat. Stay safe yourself. Take care. Everybody have a great weekend. John, thank you very much. Like I said, folks, John Mullaney there, the comment is up. He's our partner of the podcast. So if anybody's looking for any memorabilia, getting stuff framed or any jerseys you've got maybe lying about the house, you can contact the man himself on Facebook. He's on Instagram as well. MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. But enjoy your weekend, folks. A massive hail. I'll be back Monday, folks, where we will have the dial in, talk to Tim's phone in, getting some post-match action from the Hibs game in the capital on Sunday. You all have a lovely weekend. If you're going out to be sociable and have that wee drink, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Oh, you can't shove the goalie in the box. Oh, you can't shove the goalie in the box. Oh, you can't shove the goalie, 'cause he's a holy goalie. Can't shove the goalie.